Floridian Mythologies, The Last Breakfast by David Sawyer. DeSoto County had one breakfast place, just one, called The Clock. It was also the only 24-hour joint for miles and miles. But I love breakfast. It's my favorite meal, but whoever said going to a 24-hour breakfast place ain't exactly, well, it's very isolating, you know. Whitney joined in on us from across the room and chimed in, but her insights into the vast discussions of breakfast being a lonely man's meal had slightly ignited Mom's spit take of hot coffee, and so Mom sort of grinned and nodded her head up and down and to side and said under her breath, "Lord, yes. You come here much?" Whitney was engaged and was walking toward us, saying, "Years ago, and I mean years, y'all, Daddy and Mama would just love it here. But I come about every month or so, and I just adore their waffles and their grits. Y'all enjoy it? This is our first time." My mother knew small talk, and with Whitney, to her, it would be as small as feeding Barbie, or she sat down with us, and with gossip as pragmatic. It would be like drowning a Barbie by accident in a kid's small fish tank. In other words, Mom knew what Whitney Bellingham, was like, and could be cordial, but could also make herself forget this at times. "My mother Ray's coming down from North Carolina next month or so, and we might treat her to some breakfast one night." Whitney, always Whitney, and long before she had plagued for the soon blessed Holy Eternal, she might have seen a shimmer of salt fall from her eyes, like puddles of chicken broth, but maybe once or twice in her life. And hopefully it wasn't of her own doing, but of someone else's discourse. No, she didn't like it or care for it. So much of her own life was like that. She never showed emotions, and if she did, it wasn't to her family, and it wasn't a seasonal thing, and there was nothing. But dear Lord, Whitney, that day, she had condensations of feelings built up for years, y'all. And Mom just let her rip like a goddamn water hose in the summer heat, y'all. "Boys, y'all better run to the restroom." First, Whitney sniffled, and then she sneezed while crying, and then she started talking incoherently. And we still, to this day, don't know why in the hell she was confessing whatever she needed to get out of her system. But Mom held her in her arms a little, like that Barbie doll that was thrown in the imaginary fish tank of life, but just a slimy, wet irritation of what looked like Barbie, but secretly was hated for it, and was only human, but complex, and just like everyone else, but never, ever showed this side to anyone, not even to a therapist. So her life was tragically short-lived. She fell right there in the clock, on the dirty, mildewed tile floor, but stood right up again. Oh, my God! And then collapsed again from exhaustion, and even an old white mint wrapper was stuck to the side of her head, only seen when it landed next to a coffee pot on the table, and then the food arrived. So Mom's like, "Boys, come on, food's here." and Mom walked her to her car. And they both started crying, but Kevin and I knew what it was. Just years of neglect from her mom and dad and loss of contact from friends and family that had moved away, y'all. So, was Whitney as bad as all that? Yes, she was. But Kevin and I were hungry, so we ate. And Mom explained everything to us in the car. And we never talked about it. And I mean, never talked about it to Mom ever again.